Hi, I'm Kate Amory, and today I'm going to talk to you about another one of our key questions related to data governance and privacy. Today we're going to be thinking about what the process steps are for actually publishing and sharing data to our data marketplace. So this isn't talking about being a consumer of the data that's kind of represented on the data marketplace. It's more from the slightly more administrative perspective of, if you're a data owner, how do I get my data out there and make sure that it's being consumed widely? Well, the first thing you have to do is make sure the data set is represented in Axon Core. So it may already well be there, because actually the way that data governance works is we document our key data sets and we connect them up to the key context within Axon. So it may just be a question of reviewing it, making sure that everything is in place, everything is in shipshape before you make that publication. The next step, another key check, is to make sure the appropriate policies are in place. Now, if you've just created the dataset in Axon particularly, there might not be any policy linkages, and if you're updating it, you're still going to want to make sure that the right policies are in place, because when you publish data to the data marketplace, it needs to be connected to the appropriate terms of use. It needs to be clear that when any consumer comes along to request access to it, that they really understand how they should be using it, and if there are any limitations on the way in which they should treat that data and how they should use it once they receive it. So make sure that your data set is linked up to the right policies, to the right terms of use, so that when the consumer comes through, they are aware of your recommendations and expectations. The next step will be to actually publish the data to the marketplace. Now, this can be done in bulk. You can do a few at a time, publishing into the same category, or you can just publish one as it's ready. All you need to do is highlight the data set in Axon Core. You're going to choose to publish data, and you'll send that across to the marketplace after selecting a prefix and a category for it to land in. This means that it will be categorized in the right way and be easy for those consumers to come and find when they come browsing. The next step is, once it has come through to the marketplace, as it will have done as soon as you publish it, you just want to check that all of the defaults that have come through with it are the ones that you are happy with. For example, it will pull through the owner of the dataset as the data owner to approve or reject access requests. It will also expect the default technical owner to be acting as the provisioner for that data. But if you have a different one, you can go in and update that immediately. You also might want to change from the default way of provisioning the data. So if the data says as a default it's going to be provisioned via a data lake, but actually you have a different data warehouse that you'd rather it was coming from, that's up to you to say, look, this particular data set should be provisioned in this way, it can be provisioned in this way, and that's my preference as the data owner. Once you've updated those defaults, you might want to think about some broader context. Now, if your dataset was a pre-existing dataset in Axon, it might already have a great deal of powerful context related to it anyway. For instance, in Axon, we obviously have the ability to connect datasets to the different quality scores of the different attributes within them. We can link them to the physical fields in EDC where they'll actually be located. We can link them to different policies, as I mentioned, processes, projects. All of these things can help your consumer to find the data more easily during their search and understand it better once they look at the data collection. They can understand, of course, if there's quality, how likely they are to get the results they need from their next analytics project, and that's a very important element that they'll want to consider. So make sure to enrich that context if you haven't already. Finally, you will start getting these access requests. As these come in, as people have seen what is basically an advert for your data collection, showing what data you have to offer, and if it would be useful to them, they will start requesting access. As a data owner, it will be your responsibility to approve or reject those access requests once you've got sufficient information. And that's how you get your data out there on the data marketplace, share it with consumers, and ensure that people are using the best possible data for their analytics projects. Thank you.